So before we get started, I just want to give you a little bit of background about what this talk's going to be about today. First of all, Neil and I are not technical experts. This is not going to be a lesson in how to optimize your Facebook page or how to optimize your Twitter. We are marketers. We work with over 500 companies throughout the Golden Horseshoe, and we help them market their business. And ultimately, that's what social media is. It's about people. It's not about technology. So we're going to get into that. So today's not going to be a technology lesson. So if anybody was hoping for that, we know some technological advanced people that can help you, but we're not the guys. We're here to talk to you today about marketing. The other thing is, you look at our title, what we've learned so far, because every single day we learn something new. So if you talk to Neil and I a week from now, we're going to have 10 more things about social media that we know work or don't work to tell you about. This thing is it's always changing. It never stops. It's always growing. So that's one of the reasons why we called it what we've learned so far. Here's what we're going to cover today. Neil and I have come up with 5 rules for social media. There are rules. They're not set in stone. They'll probably change in a couple weeks. But as of today, there are 5 rules. We're going to talk about content. Content is king. That's what social media is all about, is content. And then we're going to cover the big 4, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, and then we have some resources for you where you can go online and get some additional help. Let me skip over to this side. So the 5 rules. Social media is a collection of communication tools. It's what you do with those tools that matters. I cannot emphasize this enough. Facebook will not make you successful. LinkedIn will not make you successful. Twitter will not make you successful. What you do with those will make you successful. Okay? If you go on to Twitter every day and all you do is talk about yourself and all you do is promote yourself, people will shut you down and ignore you. So you might get a list of followers, but they're not listening to your message. Okay? So it's not about you. And these are communication tools. These are methods for communicating. And communication is two-way. We'll get into that more. Social media is about people. It's not about technology. It's not about your products, and it's not about your services. It's about people. It's about connecting. If you walked into this networking event today and you stood at that door and you said, "Hey, everybody, I've got a 99-cent deal on today. Come on, come and follow me." Nobody's going to follow you. So why would you go on Facebook and say, "Hey, I got a 99-cent page or offer today. Will you like me?" It doesn't work. Social media is just the digital version of networking. That's really all it is. It's connecting with people. You have to remember that person at the other end of that tweet or the other end of that Facebook post is a person. Develop a give first mentality. Don't sell, connect. Give first. You will be truly successful in social media if you are a giver. If you are finding great content, if you're finding great information, if you're sharing your insights and you're giving it away for free on social media, people will want to follow you. People will want to like you. People will want to return to your page and see what else you have to say. The most successful people on social media, that's what they do. And once they've built up enough equity, then they may ask you to buy something from them, but not beforehand. If you're going to do it on a consistent basis. A lot of our clients will say, "Yes, I have a Twitter account." I say, "Excellent. I have 2 followers and I've tweeted once." "Okay, when did you open up the page?" "In 2007. "Okay, that's probably why you have 2 followers. "I have a Facebook page and I posted once about 7 months ago." "Okay. If you're not there, you're not going to be part of a conversation. Social media is about conversation. It takes 2 people to have one, correct? So you have to be there. So if you're going to make a commitment to social media, make a commitment to it. It's just like any other marketing tool you have, you make a commitment to it. And the last one is create, find, and share content that people will want to consume and spread. There's an author, he lives in Oakville, his name is Scott Stratton, and write this book down. It's called Unmarketing. One word. The greatest book you can read on social media, Unmarketing. And he has a great saying. He says, "People spread awesome. people spread awesome. They don't spread average. You don't call up your friend and say, hey, you got to see this video. It's okay. No, you say, look at this funny video. Look at this awesome video. Read this amazing blog post. Whatever it is, people spread things that are awesome. That's his saying, and I truly believe that. If you can find content that the people you want to market with find interesting, they will consume it and they will spread it. Now, like I said, these will probably change at some point, but these are our 5 rules as of today. So let's move into content. I wanted to spend a few minutes on this because this is for business. Again, we're not talking about personal social media today where you're connecting with your friends and sharing, look at this new kitten video. This is about for your business. No, that's fun. Doing the kitten video stuff is fun as well. I enjoy doing that. I put some good stuff on Facebook. But in business, for your company, it's the content that you create and the content that you share that will ultimately give you your success. So let's talk a little bit about content.
Now, before you start thinking about content, I need to give you one word that will just underline everything there is about social media, and the word is intention. Everything is all about your intention. Anything you ever do ultimately comes down to the word intention. So if your intention for social media is to self-promote, or if your intention for social media is to replace traditional advertising, then you might not have an aligned intention to what the real intention of social media is about. So in social media, for any business person, is no different than strategizing your business, right, Vern? Like you strategize your offering, you strategize your client service, you strategize your budgets, your financials. The same thing is true with social media. We're seeing a lot of people that are part-time social media people. So you're going on part-time, you're running around, you're tweeting once or twice a week, and then they don't hear from you. You might blog, and we're just as guilty as everybody else. You might be blogging once every 2 or 3 months, and then nobody hears from you again for 9 or 10 months. But you really want to be known as an expert in your particular industry. So social media needs to have the intention that I want to get my name out there as being an expert. Notice the word an expert. Please never become the expert. There's no such thing, right? There's no such thing as the expert. The rules are changing too fast. An expert would be, I'd like you to think about right now as you sit in your chair, what is one thing that I know that I probably know more of than anybody in this room? Just think about that right now. Then as you think about the one thing you know better than anybody else in this room, think about how can I give what I know back to the business world? Now, this is where you're going to run into some problems because we heard this at another social media event where one business person says, well, hang on a minute. I don't want my people spreading trade secrets. And the gentleman running the program was Adam White from JMR Software. And Adam White said, there's no such thing as trade secrets anymore. I can find anything I want on Google. Anybody in car sales? Anybody in sales? There's no such thing as trades. Everybody gets everything they get off of Google now. So those of you who are with organizations that are still limiting what you can write about or giving to your customers because of trade secrets, or we have a social media policy. We don't allow people to operate on social media. I don't know about you, I got 2 teenage girls. You think I'm ever going to stop them from partying? Because if I try and stop them from doing something, what are they going to do? Well, this better not be on camera because my girls will watch this. They're going to party more, right? So the same thing with people. Social media should be part of an overall strategy that's been agreed upon and designed by every person in the organization. And then everybody takes turn giving value to social media. Social media is not about talking. It is about listening. And that's the most important lesson that we've learned in the last 2 years in Niagara. Social media is not about talking. It's about listening. It's about engaging in valuable dialogue. So think about right now, what's one thing you probably do better than anybody in this room? And start thinking about how can I give tips to my potential clientele? You will never lose sales by doing that. You'll become known as an expert in your industry, and then people will then call on you based on that expertise. It's all about content. Not having a strategy in place for content is like driving a car without a steering wheel. You're just never going to get to where you want to go. So we'd like to talk a little bit about content today, and then we'll get into the methods of social media.
Absolutely. Thank you. So I have some jokes here about content creation. In case you can't see that in the back, it says, I'm not getting many visitors to my blog. I thought more people would want to read about my infected pinky toe. Now, the purpose of this cartoon is to say if you're not creating content that your audience finds interesting, they're not going to read it. Does that make sense? So if you're talking about your infected pinky toe, or if you're talking about yourself, people are not going to be interested. How many of you have to sell for a living? Pretty much every hand in the room should be up, right? You have to do some type of sales, whether it's to an outside customer or to the employees within your business. When you want to sell something, do you go up and talk about yourself? Anybody? No. What do you talk about? Wrong. The person. That's right. You talk about the person. You talk about the person across from you. You're selling to a person. The same thing is with social media. You're not there to talk about you. People care about themselves. They want to know what's in it for me. Here's a great one. We need to get our brand talked about. Once we pretty her up, we'll push her on Facebook. We're going to need a lot more lipstick, and that middle thing is a pig. They're putting lipstick on a pig. So no matter how much social media you do, if your business and your products and services are bad, social media can't help you. If you deliver a horrible customer experience, social media can't help you. So this cartoon is emphasizing that take care of your own offering first and make sure you're offering something that's really valuable to the marketplace. Then you can communicate through social media and bring people into your world. Here's another one. If you talk to people the way advertising talk to people, they punch you in the face. I found that one last night. That was awesome. I started laughing out loud at that. I gave myself an LOL. It's so true. It's so true that if you're on social media and you start pushing your products and services, people just tune you out. How many people in this room are on Facebook? Okay. Now, the people that are on Facebook, how many of you have liked pages of businesses? Okay. Now, when you like those businesses and all they do is talk about themselves, do you keep going back? Not many, right? So it's not about promotion. It's about conversation. So let's talk about content. These are just a few examples of how you can create content for social media. I won't get into long details on this, but I'll just go through what each one is so you guys have an idea. Starting in the left top corner, webinar. A webinar is basically what we're doing today, but on a computer screen. People can log in at their desk with their computer and their phone line typically, anywhere they are, and watch a seminar being conducted live, or they can also be on demand where you can download them and watch them whenever you want. Webinars are very inexpensive to produce nowadays, and it's a great tool if you have information that you want to partake that takes longer than a tweet to get across to people. Podcast. Podcast it's very old. It's been around since the beginning of social media. It's basically on-demand audio. Now, when I say on-demand, I mean that you can listen to it whenever you want to. Anybody here ever heard of iTunes? Right? iTunes has millions of free podcasts. Free. There's a ton on business, and they're amazing. You can download them, pop them in your car while you're going to the next appointment, and you can listen to them. So podcasts are audio. They all have something called vodcasts, which is basically a webinar, but vodcast stands for video on demand. So it's the same type of thing. Then we have videos, as our friend Mr. Jim Wall over here is helping us out today. Videos are a great, great tool. And we're going to get into YouTube today. We're going to talk a little bit about it. But I tell you a little secret. People do not like to read anymore. I don't have the attention span to read. Oh, look at all these words, right? Just give me a video. Oh, look at the dog jumping. How cool is that, right? We all suffer from shiny nickel disease nowadays. Oh, look at that. Oh, whoa, look at that. I get distracted so easy. Well, so does the public. So does your audience. So videos are a great tool. Blogs. Anybody here blog? Who blogs? All right. We blog too. So solidarity, sisters. Blogs are basically an online diary, for lack of a better word. It's where you can write about a subject that you're passionate about and you want people to follow you about it. And you can write about as much as you want, once a day, a bunch of times a day, once a week, as much as you want. But the key to blogging is to make sure that you're keeping your audience engaged. And today, has anybody ever visited a blog? You notice at the bottom of each post, there's a comment section. Your goal is to get people to have comments on your blog so you can start conversations with them. That's your ultimate goal. It's not, I have 42,000 people that read my blog. It's, I have 5,000 people that read my blog, but I have conversations every day with the people that read it. Photos. There's a great site out there called Flickr. Anybody ever heard of Flickr? That's a great site. It's a photo sharing site. Facebook allows you to post photos as well. Photos is a great way to convey what you're doing. If you have a company where what you do requires instructions, photos can be a great way to get that across. E-books. Neil and I have produced e-books on our own. You go into Word, you write your book, make it into a PDF, you put it online, and there you have an e-book. E-book basically means that it's in digital format, but it's a book. The first e-book I wrote was 20 pages. It does not have to be War and Peace. It can be short and to the point, and people will read it if it's written well. White papers, the shorter cousin of e-books. Okay? Usually they're 4 to 8 pages long. They're on a very specific topic, and you're focused at a very specific audience. But again, it's usually in a written format, but you can deliver white papers in a video format. And lastly is articles. We've all seen those as well. Those are similar to blog posts. But these are some content tools that cost next to nothing. Most of them are free. You can create a blog with WordPress.com for free today in about 5 minutes. And they cost you nothing. All you're really investing is your time. Yeah. That's the real cost of social media, is your time. So I just wanted to show you that there are tools that you could leave this seminar today and go out and start using today and get results from. So we're going to talk a little bit about Facebook. So again, I think half the room is on Facebook. Show of hands. Facebook is a wonderful tool. 750 million users. And I found out this week that there's 16 million Canadians on Facebook. So that's about half the country. That's amazing, isn't it? 16 million Canadians are on Facebook. So for those of you who don't know what Facebook is, it's primarily for connecting with your family and your friends. But there is a business component to it. You can share photos, videos, links, have online conversations. There's a chat mechanism where you can have real-time conversations with people. And it's the world's largest social network. But for business, it's a little different. Most of the time on Facebook, you connect with your family and your friends. And the last thing you want to do is really start selling your family and friends really hard, right? Come on, you got to buy this stuff, Cousin Joe. You know, you don't want to do that to people. So Facebook allows you to create a page for your business. This is somebody we found online, First Impressions Dental Clinic. And what you can do on this page is if somebody likes this page, they understand it's about your business. So they've given you permission to talk to them about their business. They did not give you permission to bore them to death. Okay? They gave you permission to have a conversation. So if you look at this page, we've circled a couple things here. You can't see it that well from the back. But these are where they are giving out information about dental hygiene, about taking care of yourself. They're not talking about their products and services. They're giving information to their audience. You can see over on the far side it says 64 people like this page. So they're starting to build an audience. 64 people have said, I'd like to have more conversations with you about this. That's amazing. They've given this company permission to talk to them. Now, they have to not squander it. They have to go on here and they have to make sure that they're giving information that is relevant to that audience. They could post pictures, they can post videos, they can post links, they can put their own articles on here. All that can be done on Facebook. This is free, by the way. You can create a page for your business for free.
This is where this gets very tough to talk about. Abraham Lincoln was well known for writing vicious, vicious letters to people. Now, none of you probably know that because Mrs. Lincoln would always hijack them before they went into the post. And we have seen time and time again where Facebook is obviously more social, more fun, but it's diplomatic. We've been asked to do a lot of hiring lately for our clients. And a board member that I'm on a board with called me and said, "Do you think my brother would make a good addition to that company?" And I had to politely say, "No." And she said, "Why?" "Because he's a complete idiot on Facebook." I've been following this post, very political, very politically opinionated, and the one thing that you never should talk about on Facebook, as in any organization, is politics, sex, well maybe sex, and religion. And those three things, it's like anything. Whenever you're doing a talk in front of a group, it's not something you should really be bringing up. But in Facebook, there are no rules. So this is where it gets really tough. I don't know if there's any teenagers in the room. How many of you have teenagers? Anybody? Like hug later, okay? Because it's like, I'm sitting. Teenagers, there's no rules here. So my brother-in-law right now is the vice principal at Dennis Morris High School. His methodology is very easy. Enter is also known as evidence. And every day is Niagara Regional Police coming into his organization to say, this person we suspect is involved with drugs or involved in a gang. Can you please pull up his or her Facebook page? And this gets searched now on almost everybody, including when you become hired. When you're in an interview situation in any company, this is often the first place I go to. And a lot of students, it's really tough because I teach marketing at Niagara College, and I always say this, you got to be really careful the photos you put on Facebook because it will be searched by your employer. "Oh, no, I got it locked up." I know 3 programs that let me see any photo you've ever posted. And all of them usually pull up their iPads and start typing. Because if you're in a competition to be hired through my organization, I do a post on you, and you're one of the top 2 candidates, and I post, and all I see are party pictures, and I'm going down to Darien Lake to get all hammered up with friends. I'm thinking, okay, there's nothing wrong with that, but you're also competing with somebody who also on Facebook has been involved in volunteer organizations, picture of him or her giving a check to Big Brothers Big Sisters. You know, there's everything you are everything you do on social media is who you are. The difficulty is there are no rules on this. And my kids have a ball on this stuff. I have to constantly remind Anna, my 13-year-old, is, you know your grandma's reading that. Oh, what? And you know, and they're. But the thing is, once it's posted, it's permanent. And you guys all know that about Facebook. It's permanent. You cannot remove it, because if I send you a post and all you have to do is like it or forward it or send it to somebody else, I could remove that from my Facebook page, but that's still out there in the world. And that I'm seeing a lot of people right now, the Facebook stuff they did 5 or 6 years ago is now coming back to really haunt them. Primarily if you have kids, ask them to be very careful. Now, the difficulty is, before you post anything on social media, here's a great practice for you. Please run it across somebody. Larry and I, every week, set up our social media posts. If you're not using someone like Vern or somebody that can say, listen, from a marketing standpoint, these are some of the things that you probably need to get out there in the next month. Don't do social media on the fly, and especially don't type when you're mad. Because I'm seeing a lot of people do it. They're saying something, and the difficulty is, this is how technology works. I'm not in the room communicating with you. So you don't know the inflection of my voice. I'm very passionate, or I'm very mad, or whatever. All I'm doing is typing. And the problem with Facebook is there's what's called keyboard bullies. So I type something about you, and I'm very mad and very upset. But I don't intend to offend you. But guess what happens? You read it and interpret it to your mood and your interpretation. So you read it, you take it the wrong way, you forward it to some of your people. That Neil's a real jerk. Did you see what he did to me? It wasn't my intention, but guess what? It's now out around the world. And I never thought before I typed that, I wonder how you're going to actually interpret this message. The other social media ones, the Twitter's the same kind of issue. The LinkedIn is more business, but Facebook is the biggest trouble spot right now, especially in the high schools. So how it relates to business, please don't put anything on social media if it has not already been predetermined as a marketing strategy. It's a great rule, and it'll cost you a lot of heartache. All right? Good stuff. All right. Keep going.
Thank you. Two other things about Facebook. It's a great way to have conversations with your customers, but it's also a great way to show that you can handle bad news. I'll give you an example. There was a gentleman we both know that was buying furniture from a furniture store in Niagara. I won't say the name. But he was scheduled to get delivery on a Monday. They called him on the Monday and he said, there's been a mix-up and your furniture is going to be delayed 3 weeks. He was like, oh, man, he was really upset. He said, well, I guess if there's nothing you can do, he goes, well, you can at least waive the delivery charge for me, right? He said, oh, absolutely not, sir. He said, come on, it's $75. Just waive the fee. Make me feel a little bit better. They said, sorry, that's our policy. So he went on Facebook, and he went on to his page, which he has a few thousand people that like his page. But guess what? Trying to get office furniture, didn't show up on time, told the whole story. Well, within an hour, he had 36 people comment on his post. Now, just think about this for a second. He had 3,000 people on his page that would see his comment. Now, 36 people commented on his. So that means that everybody on each one of those 36 people, all of their friends can now see that post. And he put the company's name in the post, by the way. And 2 of the 36 people said, you know what, I was thinking of buying furniture, but since they're such jerks, I'm not going to. I'm going to go somewhere else. So that $75 mistake cost that company a lot of money. Now, that company's not on Facebook. So they couldn't be part of the conversation where they could jump in and say, whoa, hold the phone. We made a mistake. We had an intern answer the phone. She didn't know what she was doing. Not only are we going to not charge you the late fee or the delivery charge, we're even going to buy you dinner. And everybody would have, wow, look how great these guys are. Then that conversation would have started. But because they weren't even there, they didn't even know the conversation happened, and they lost a lot of business. Another point about Facebook pages is it really helps with your search engine rankings. Google looks at relevancy as the number one factor in your ranking. How relevant is what you're producing to what the person is looking for? Does that make sense, everybody? They also look for frequency. How often do you update the information? So, real quick lesson with Google. They have these little robots on Google. They shoot out to the Google universe. They look at pages, they come back. And they keep going back and forth. And if they go to your page 2 or 3 times and you have the same content, they stop coming back as frequently. You know, they don't really do much. Then eventually they come once in a blue moon. But if you're changing your content all the time, they keep coming back. Oh, look at all the new stuff they have. And your rankings go way up. So a Facebook page like this absolutely helps with your search engine rankings. So here are some quick 5 action steps for Facebook. Create a separate page for your business. If you have a personal page about Facebook, do not make that your business page. Separate the two. Have your personal life and have your business page. Identify the Facebook friends that you may have a business connection or that you think would be interested in what you want to talk about, and invite them. You can direct message them however you want to invite them. Share content that people find interesting. Again, your daily special is not interesting. Okay? Share information that's interesting. And join in conversations. If somebody posts something on your page, answer them. Like, don't leave me hanging, right? Like, I went, hey, I had a great experience. Let's go, okay, that's great, leave it. No, have a conversation with me. Talk to the people that post on your page. Very simple things. You can set up a Facebook page in 5 minutes and invite your friends and start sharing some content and go back there once a day. Neil and I have with our social media, first thing in the morning and first thing at the end of the day, these are the things we do. We go on our social media. We're not there all day long. Now, mind you, I took a picture of all of you when I got here and I put it on Facebook already, but I don't typically do that all day long. So find some time, because you can really make Facebook work even with 15 minutes a day for your business.
I want to go back to the dialogue, too, about the complaints. We interviewed Bob Jackson last week in our CEO series. He's the CEO of Vintage Hotels. He's on TripAdvisor every single day. And you know TripAdvisor is anybody can say anything about your property, and it is on the web. And TripAdvisor is just the hotel version of social media. They have a team that responds to every single comment, positive and negative, on TripAdvisor. And that's how Vintage Hotels keeps their standing as one of the best hotel groups anywhere. So it is a transparent. Anything that ever happens to your customers, they have the ability, well, they've always had the ability to talk about it, but now they can talk about it to millions of people. So you are on stage constantly.
Next, we're going to talk about LinkedIn. How many people here are on LinkedIn?
Yeah.
All right. How many people don't know what LinkedIn is? Oh, one person in the back. I don't know. That's all right. We're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
So LinkedIn is sort of like the business version of Facebook. That's kind of the easiest way to describe it. It's primarily for connecting with business colleagues. It's the world's largest business-to-business social network. There's over 120 million users as of today. And I found out that there's 3 million LinkedIn users in Canada. So that's an impressive number. So it's not something to be ignored. Now, LinkedIn is a great way to meet people you'd like to do business with. But the same rules apply. You don't start screaming about what you do. You make a connection with somebody. Just like if you met a new business person in this room today, you don't go, hi, how's it going? I'd really like to sell you my stuff. And you don't get all excited. You say, what do you do? What's your business all about? The same thing on LinkedIn. It's a great tool for that. So here's an example, the Social Media Club Niagara. Does anybody here belong to that group? Great group. With LinkedIn, you can have a page on yourself, and it's a great way to show your background, your experiences, your education. It's a great way to show, to get people to recommend you. Neil's got about 42 million people that have recommended him on LinkedIn. It's a great way to do that. It's a great way to share your blog posts, your tweets, your videos. It's a great way to do that, to hold everything on one really good page. But please keep in mind, and one thing I should have pointed out at the beginning, social media should never replace your own website. Okay? Because LinkedIn can decide tomorrow that they don't want to be here anymore. And Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, they own all the content that you put on there. So they can do whatever they want with it. They can put advertising around it. They can do whatever. Now, there's certain parameters that they can't sell it or whatnot, but they can, within your page, they can package it up so people want to see advertising. But they can also say, I don't like this page anymore. Goodbye. And it's gone. And it's gone forever. So always make sure you have a website. And on your website, it's your own rules on your website versus social media.
So oftentimes, if I meet with you, I'll Google you. Typically, I'll see your LinkedIn profile before your website. And then I'll go, oftentimes to even find a website, I'll go into your LinkedIn profile and click on your website. And that's how I'll often find your website. So if you don't have LinkedIn, it's almost like your online resume. It's set up that way. And LinkedIn is a huge tool if you're looking for work or you're looking to find people.
Absolutely.
We use it all the time. Sorry, headhunters. Okay, but we use it all the time, and it's a great dialogue tool.
Absolutely. So there's two things I want to go over with LinkedIn today. Create your profile. And within your profile, here's a question we ask a lot of business people. Is what you're known for what you want to be known for? Okay, I'm going to say that again. It's kind of a deep question, but you need to answer that. Is what you are known for what you want to be known for? Yes or no? I can't answer that for you. But LinkedIn gives you an opportunity to create that. What do you want to be known for in the marketplace? You can create your own profile. Build your network. LinkedIn is a wonderful tool that if you go on there and I go onto Josie's page and I see she knows 4 people that I don't know, I can get Josie to introduce those people to me so I can connect with them on LinkedIn. It's a wonderful tool for referrals, a really great tool. And if you two are friends, I want to meet you, and she already has that trust with you, I can lean on that trust. Now you can also, as we showed here, this is a group, Social Media Club Niagara. By the way, I recommend every one of you to join this group. It's free, they meet monthly, and they discuss social media. I'm really nerdy. I know how nerdy that sounds. Like, oh boy, that sounds great. But it's awesome. But they have conversations online. So I posted one here. Is there a formula to creating a viral video? What are your thoughts? And all of a sudden, there was a whole bunch of conversation around it. There's another post. Are you your own worst Twitter enemy? Somebody posted that. So you can post conversations in groups and start to talk about things that you find interesting. By the way, you can start your own group. So if you find something that you're really passionate about, if it's shoes or if it's travel or whatever, you can start a group, invite people to join that group, and start having conversations with them. So LinkedIn is a really great tool for that, but its referral network, that's its greatest strength, is I can get you to introduce me to her, and now we're connected.
For anyone in sales, LinkedIn has now become the new cold call. Just so you know, I'd probably say for Larry and I, 80% of our new business development in the last 12 months has come from an inquiry on LinkedIn. So again, what are you doing to connect with people, create a bit of dialogue, give people value, give people ideas, and then link it to video, link it to Facebook, and then what happens is you become known as an expert in your industry, and people are going to call you and say, Linda, I've been really inquiring about the update of my insurance. I don't feel I'm getting a great deal right now. I've seen you posting some great things on how to winterize your car, how to get your kids ready for driving, which I'm faced with right now. And I'm looking for tools like that. Linda, you're writing that stuff constantly. So I'm going to say to my wife, if we're looking to renew, let's go to Linda. She's constantly giving value to the business world. She's definitely let's give her a call and ask for rates, because that's what you're looking for. Not an ad in a paper that looks like everyone else's. I'm not knocking print media. Adam Shields would punch me. I'm not knocking print media, but if you're going to do print media, you have to stand out. It's just, we get bombarded with so many images every day that how do I stand out in a very saturated market? And also a market that's very critical. It's really tough. It's critical today. People want answers. We live in an instant gratification society. The greatest timeline in history at one point was the death of Christ. Now it's AG, after Google. It's true. Anybody in this room in their 20s? That's all you've ever known. If our wireless goes down in our house, it's anarchy. Like, it is crazy. Kids, they're running around, and now they're going to their BlackBerries. I can MSN. Dad, we've lost the signal. Okay, like the end of the world is coming. But our kids, business, wants instant gratification. The tough part is, last month, Larry and I were with probably the fastest growing construction company in Niagara. Owner of the business came in, sat down, and said, social media is a complete waste of time. Larry pipes up. Are your customers using it? Yeah. Oh, shoot. Now, it was a more verbal word than shoot. And they looked at each other and said, we're in the world of concrete. We better start getting in the world of communicating with our clients. And they went online. Everything they're doing is online now, including videos. So that's a new world. And try and tell a company who's been doing it for 30 years that you now have to completely change the way you market to the world. And like Larry said earlier, that'll probably change again next week when Facebook decides to change the rules. It's being on the edge. And again, you often won't do that on your own. I would recommend you talk to a social media person who does it for a living to give you advice.
Here's some quick action steps for LinkedIn. Create your profile. Again, complete your profile. LinkedIn is becoming very important in Google rankings as well. As Neil mentioned, people aren't just Googling your company anymore, they're Googling you. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later. Build your network. Don't be afraid to introduce yourself to people or to get people to introduce for you, refer for you. Join groups or create groups. Start conversations. It's unbelievable how many groups I've joined the last couple of weeks, and all of a sudden these conversations are starting everywhere, and they're really great people with really great conversations that are around the world. Connect directly with at least 2 people a day and start a conversation. Again, if you're going to commit to LinkedIn, if that's the one you want to commit to, then do that. Every day, say I need to connect with 2 people. I'm going to start a conversation. If Josie and I make a connection on LinkedIn, if she sends me something Josie would like to connect and I accept it, so I'm going to send her a message and start a conversation with her. I'm not going to go, okay, thanks, and never talk to her again. I'm not here to build up my numbers. That's not what this is about. It's about connecting. If she wants to be my friend, and I know who she is, or I have an idea, I'm going to say I accept, and then I'm going to start a conversation with her. So that's what you need to do. And share content daily. Share things you've learned or things you've created or things you've found that you know the people you're with would find of interest. If you're not creating your own content and you're sharing others, be prepared to lose business to that other person. Okay? So take some time and create your own content. Every one of you are good at what you do. You're passionate about your business. You're smart. You can create good content. It's not that hard. Now, when I said connect directly with 2 people a day, our advice is if you're not in social media today, start with 1. Pick one that you want to focus on. Get used to using it. Start to build up some conversations. Connect with some people before you start branching out into a bunch of other ones. Because I got to tweet today. Now I got to do my LinkedIn post, and I got to make a video. And it's like, wow, I actually have to service some customers too and pay my bills. So pick one. If you are a salesperson, I would be in over Facebook in a minute. Okay? Talk about Twitter real quick. What is Twitter? Primarily for connecting with people and topics you find interesting. When you communicate, you can only use 140 characters. So that means you have to keep your messages concise. You have to really think about what you're going to say. There's 200 million users on Twitter. Now, Twitter is a different beast. Here's our friend Scott Stratton, the guy we were mentioning. He has 103,000 people. Actually, I think it's 105,000 now that follow him. So when he sends out his tweets, people follow that. The nice thing about Twitter is you can send out a tweet to everybody that follows you, and you can also direct message the individuals that follow you and have one-on-one conversations. That's the really interesting part about Twitter, is I've only really been working at it a couple weeks now. And I've started to have conversations with people that have written books that I've really admired. And they actually followed me first. And they commented on a tweet I made. I was like, but you're famous. Why are you talking to me? I was like, well, that was really interesting. And then we started having conversations. That's the amazing part of Twitter, is you can connect with people that might have seemed like you weren't going to be able to connect with them. So this is not a tool for promoting your business or just about your business like more Facebook or LinkedIn would be. This is more about connecting with individuals. Here are some quick action steps with Twitter. Create a profile that describes the real you, okay? Not your business, you. That's the key to Twitter, is don't put a logo up as your Twitter profile. If you have a LinkedIn page, or if you have about your business, or if you have a Facebook page about your business, you can put a logo up as your picture. But on Twitter, it's all about you, the individual. Follow people that you want to connect with and learn from. So find people that you find interesting. One thing, the first thing I did is I searched on Twitter the word Niagara, and it came up with this giant list of people that were on Twitter from Niagara. Who did I want to connect with? And I started to follow them. And a number of those people started to follow me back. Start conversations. You see something interesting that they said, you can hit reply and start talking to them directly. Share what you've learned. Again, every social media goes back to the same thing. Share great content. Don't talk about yourself. Share great content. And lastly, if you're going to commit to Twitter, you need to tweet at least 5 times a day. Because you tweet. I tweeted this morning before I left here, and I went and put something in my briefcase, and I came back, and there was 40 tweets above it already. I was gone for literally 30 seconds. So that tweet just, whew. Now, there's certain times a day when the traffic on Twitter is up here. There's other times when it's lower. In the morning and in the evening, Twitter is mad buzz. But That's why you want to connect with individuals and you want to have conversations with them. So YouTube is owned by Google, just so you know. Google bought YouTube, primarily for uploading and sharing videos. 3 billion videos viewed a day. Crazy number. 490 million unique visitors per day to Google, or to YouTube. So YouTube is a monster. Now, I will give you a tip. You can create your own YouTube channel. Here's, yes, a selfless plug from us. This is our Trigger Strategies YouTube channel. But we do not drive anybody here. We embed every single one of those videos into our website, and we drive you to our website. The reason is that I can drive you to this channel, and when that video is finished playing, up comes the box with, could be something about a cat, could be something about a pirate, could be my competitor. Or on my website, you just get me, or you just get what we're trying to sell you. But the nice thing about this is you can create this channel for free and put all of your videos there. You can house them all in one spot, so it makes it easy for you to manage your videos. So yes, another selfless plug. If you guys ever want to go to our website, we have a whole bunch of CEOs from around the Golden Horseshoe that we've interviewed. And we're asking them all kinds of questions about how do they run their business, how do they overcome challenges, how do they build sales, how do they use social media. You can check out these videos. So that's another piece of content that we're creating. So how do you use YouTube? Well, first of all, you create videos that don't suck. That's the first tip. Create videos that somebody would actually want to watch. Okay? So it doesn't have to be earth-shattering, but are you giving away really good, valuable information? I also recommend you keep your videos short, 2 to 3 minutes. Okay? Unless you have a documentary or something, then you can make it longer. But if you want to get something across, keep your videos short. Start your own channel. It's free. You can put different colors on it, whatnot. Embed your videos in your own website. Don't drive people to YouTube. Okay? Very easy to do. YouTube actually gives you a little link. It says embed. You click it, you take the link, you plop it in your website, and it's there. Spread the word about your videos through your other social media avenues. Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, or Twitter. And we like to create a calendar where we know we're going to produce these videos every month. Also, so Jim knows when we're going to be producing the videos as well. Okay, so YouTube's a great tool. And like I said earlier today, people don't want to read as much anymore. They lose attention span. So video is a great way to get your message across.
Okay, so here's a real Niagara story. All right, and it'll help you in how to use YouTube. Got a call from a well-known car dealership on Ontario Street, very well known. What they want to do is they want to drive more sales in their service department. And I met with the owner, and they said, well, how can I drive service or customers into the service department? And our traditional methods of advertising just aren't producing the results, right? We probably all face that. You put an ad in the paper, you expect people to rush to your door, but they're not. The traditional marketing isn't getting the same results. So I said, well, what if you made up a series of videos with your service techs? And they're all dressed up, you know, they've all got their shirts on. And said, what should I post in social media? How do I do that? I said, first thing you do, Jim, you'll need to leave the room for a second. You go to Future Shop or Best Buy. You buy an $80 flip camera. Little USB pops up. They're not the high quality, but they'll work. They're not a bad camera. You set up in the shop, and you ask your technicians to give your customers pieces of advice, things that they can do at home. So her worry was, well, do you think the do-it-yourselfers are going to do it at home? No, because like me, I think I'm a mechanic, but I'm not, right? She goes, what would be a great video? I'll tell you a great video for you to post. The 3 easy steps to change a windshield wiper blade. She goes, really? I said, you have no idea. In my house, how many times do you change a wiper blade? Once every couple of years. So you remember how you know how to figure out how to change a wiper blade, you always forget? And then, of course, you're outside, it's cold, because we're all guys, we all wait till the wintertime when it's too late. So it's cold, and you're trying to change your wiper blade, and your wife comes out, and you turn into like the devil, and you're screaming, and then you finally figure out how to do it. Oh, it's that little latch right there, and you pull it off, you put the new one on. I said, what if your technicians gave us the 3 easy steps to change a wiper blade? what about the 3 easy steps to change a headlight bulb? And her head went, oh, that's such a great idea. And I said, the thing is, it's clean, it's simple. Go to Sears Canada. They've got Ken in the warehouse. A lot of you have asked how to change a fridge door from opening left to right to open right to left. Today, I'd like to show you the 3 steps on how to do that. 1, 2, 3. You know how many hits they've had on that site? You think about it. Think about Jennifer Blakely, Alphabet Photography. She's the one who developed the mob at Seaway Mall. Jennifer's so brilliant. Do you know she was the #1 video on YouTube? #1 video. I think that's done for her business. And you know what? That had nothing to do with her photography. She invented something new. So a while back, I asked you to think about, what are you an expert at, or what can you invent that doesn't exist that would be really interesting for people to see, and it all links back to your site. That's how social media works. It's the conversation happening about you on the internet. What is happening about you? Now, this is an honest question behind me. This is very, very honest. And this is how Larry and I have been starting our sales training with people. Before every session, I send out a note. Could I please have everyone's full spelling of their name? I would like to Google them before the beginning of the sales training in the morning. And oh boy, do we get in trouble when we do this. Because now you're dealing with ego. Salespeople. Ego, right? Yeah, I'm an expert. I Googled you last night. I couldn't find you. What are you doing? You tell me you're an expert in your field, but on Google you have no presence. You have no blog. You have no Facebook, no LinkedIn, no articles, no industries, no videos. In fact, I often go to image, and I'll image search you before I Google you because I want to see your photo. I want to see what kind of photo you have. A professional photo. And here's the problem. All of our photographers in the room, show of hands. Who's all our photographers? Like 2 of them? 3? Would you please get every person's card in this room and get them a photo on LinkedIn? I beg of you. Because here you are, you're an industry expert. I go to LinkedIn and there's no photo of you. Or worse yet, there's a photo of you doing this at some party somewhere. It doesn't match. Get a professional shot. What does it cost? I'm selling your business. To get a professional shot. $100. That's the best investment you're ever going to make. And they make great Christmas gifts. So give it a shot. Get a professional photo on your LinkedIn. And especially, now what I'm doing on Google is because YouTube is now almost as well searched as Google every day, is where are your videos? I should be able to almost video search your name and your YouTube channel comes up. To me in business, instant credibility. Wow. Larry, we're going to make a call in that sales department today. I did a search on them last night. All of them have professional videos. All of them are talking about their products. All of them are talking about the value, ideas for customers, the top 10 ways to strategize your business. There's an article there, like all that stuff that Vern does. It's all on the internet. You know it's all there. He's giving it away. Why? Because anything he's done last week is useless tomorrow, so just keep giving it away. That is your #1 rule for social media. What can I give away? What advice could I give my clients to make their life easier that I give it away? You're actually earning the right to then call them and say, oh, by the way, I have a special next week. I have an open house. Please come on down. We're going to have some refreshments. We'd love to have you there. You've earned the right to sell yourself. Most people have it reversed. Hey, I got a great deal on eggs. How's your family? If you do traditional marketing and social media, he will hunt you down and shave your head. He will, because it doesn't fit. And I see so many companies right now, especially the larger companies, they're trying to fit traditional advertising to social media. What does it give to you as a small business owner? You have the whole world at the end of your fingertips because you can do what the big corporations can't. Do you know how hard it was for me to be in Canadian Tire last week? Talking to them about the service department idea, and the dealer goes, we can't do that. Why? Because it's not corporate policy. Good luck there, Skippy LaRue. Go jump off your sporting goods aisle or something. And you could tell he was peeved because corporate won't let them do their own social media campaigns. So as a small business owner, you can do anything you want. Just keep it legal. And be polite whenever you say stuff. Be polite. And don't get all political on people, because people don't want it. Right? Let's
Okay,
close up.
just to wrap this up, here's some resources. There's 2 great books that we recommend if you like reading books, Unmarketing and Content Rules. Unmarketing is about the philosophy of social media, and Content Rules is about creating content and using the different tools that we talked about today. There's some good websites for information. Again, selfless plug for Trigger Strategies. But HubSpot, Mashable, and MarketingProfs.com, those are really good websites. HubSpot can be a little thick sometimes with really good stuff, but there's some good information there. And then we put something down here called Help from the Horse's Mouth. Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook all have help pages where they tell you how to use their stuff. And they really do a good job of it. This presentation today, we're going to send it to Josie, and she can email it out to you tomorrow if you want. But those websites are really worthwhile visiting. Thanks, everybody, for your time. Appreciate it.